to the Ungovernables. It is a hump day. It is a Trump day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. This is Ungoverned, and we're going to have a good morning today, getting through the nonsense. A lot of bullcrap out there. You know how it gets in these situations. You know, the Tony Sarugas of the world. I have GPS. Oh, really? Yeah, I have GPS of all the people who took place in the riots. And he started listing phone numbers, and one of them was a landline. It's a really long cord there, Tone. Don't believe that guy. But it's more than just that type of clickbait. It's a lot of nonsense. You know, one of my favorite rumors that spread yesterday, and this is why we're saying we're going to cut through the fog of war, because there is a lot of information out there, no doubt. And some of it, I believe, and you know me, I'm not somebody who will say, oh, this is 5D chess, and this is masterful, and this is, but I will say this. What happened?
Trump is making statements right now on the White House lawn, apparently.
Trump is making statements right now? Okay, let me track that down. Who said that? Okay, let me see that. Let me track that down. We could go to it. I did not know he was making. It might be one of those impromptu press conferences. I don't know where to find it, so we'll look for it. I don't know where.
I don't know either.
Yeah, if anybody has a link to it, send it in the chat. That's the only link we'll take, because I don't know where to find that. I didn't even know he was going to be doing that. But I have Pete Hegseth testifying. U.S. ways options. Let me see if this might be it. Hold on. Yeah, I got it. Okay. You know what? I do have it. I will. We can't use their stuff, but I have another one. I have it here. I will go right to it. Just give me a second while I rig it up. But we will go right to that right now if I can. What's that? Got it. Yeah. I'm going to try and get this done. Everybody just be patient for 2 seconds, and I will try and get this done, and we will go to Donald Trump on the White House lawn. Kittenhead, thank you very much for letting us know. We will go to Donald Trump, who is taking questions out on the White House lawn. And in just a second, if I can, I think this should be good, actually. Let's see. Oh, the flagpoles today. Yeah, he's putting flagpoles in. All right. Let's see if this works. If I can get this over to
the next week is going to be very big. Maybe less than a week. Maybe less. But is there anybody here that said it would be okay to have a hostile, very zealots really, but to have a hostile country have a nuclear weapon that could destroy 25 miles, but much more than that, could destroy other nations just by the breeze blowing the dust. That dust blows to other nations and they get decimated. This is just not a threat you can have. And we've been threatened by Iran for many years. If you go back and look at my history, if you go back 15 years, I was saying we cannot let Iran get a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time, and I mean it more now than I ever meant it. Yeah.
Mr. President, a question on deportations, Mr. President. You said last week that changes would be coming for farmers who have seen a lot of the workers they rely on taken away. But then DHS said this week that worksite enforcement would remain in place, that it's a cornerstone. So what's your message to farmers?
We got to get the bad people out of here first, and we're doing that. We're taking them out by the thousands. Murderers, drug dealers, people that are mentally insane from insane asylums. What they gave to us, fellas, they gave. Oh, do we have anybody in here that's a member of the? No, I don't think so. You've known all these people for a long time. Any illegal immigrants in here now? If they were, they'll find out.
Right.
They'll be checking you. You won't believe. Your whole life will be destroyed because of this press conference. Watch. They'll destroy these people. I didn't want to tell them that before they stood up. But they'll end up being, he's a so-and-so. This one is from you know where. Don't worry. I think you're going to be okay.
Sure.
I'll be right behind you. Far behind you. I'll be right behind you. Now, look, we have to take care of our farmers. We have to take care of people that run leisure, hotels. I mean, we have to take care of them. But most importantly, we have to get the criminals out of our country. And Biden let in thousands and 11,888 murderers Many of them murdered more than one person. Can you believe it? Almost 50% of them murdered more than one person. They let them into our country. They emptied out the jails of countries from all over the world, from the Congo, from Venezuela, from all over the place. They emptied out the jails. Many of them, I would. If I were running one of the countries, I would have emptied out my prison population into the U.S., and many countries did. And we're getting them out, okay? We're getting them out. Thank you very much. Let's watch this. Brian, go ahead. Are you okay?
I'm just going to follow up on the immigration real quickly.
Yeah.
Can you comment on the impact of the Trump card and how much revenue that's produced?
Yeah, we have a thing called the Trump card. This has not been done before.
All right, we're going to cut away from that. They're going to be they're doing some sort of what looks like dedication or an event to, I guess, announce the flagpoles that are being put in at the White House, the new flagpoles. So that's cool. He took a couple questions about Iran, and thank you to Kittenhead letting us know that was happening. Tried to get to it as soon as I could, and he heard him take those questions about the exemptions that I believe many of us played a huge role in getting repealed. So that's a couple of comments, a little impromptu press conference. You know how Donald Trump loves to do that. It's one of the reasons why we love him, because he loves to do that and always loves to talk to the American people. Now we're going to do flagpoles, and I don't know if anybody here is interested in watching a dedication to flagpoles, but I don't believe that's the most pressing news of the day. However, questions about Iran are certainly relevant to what we got to talk about now and what the world is still talking about. So we'll get through the fog of war, and we will get through a lot of the nonsense that's out there. My favorite example, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Folks, OFP Farms is a family-owned and operated, patriotic, America-first goat farm providing quality goat milk products for everyday use. Their large collection of goat milk products are enriched with vital nutrients of essential vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids to help promote optimal skin health, like the We the People soap, right? This stuff's great for your skin. It's goat milk soap. Goat milk is packed with essential vitamins, essential minerals, and it smells great, okay? There's a lot of, maybe we should send, Corey and Denise, maybe we should send some of this soap over to the Ayatollah. I heard he's hiding in a cave and he smells awful. That's how we were able to find him. That and the goats tattletaled on him. Maybe he could use some goat milk, right? Some goat milk soap. Give him a shower. It'll be the first time he's taken one of those in a while. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean for 15% off. OFP Farms can proudly boast, because of you, by the way, because of the LFA family, because of the Captain's Crew, because of the Ungovernables, thousands of 5-star reviews on their wide variety of products. Go to OFPFarms.com. Check out their wide selection of goat milk soaps, lotions, lip balms, etc. Slather on the goat milk goodness at OFPFarms.com. It's OFPFarms.com. OFP Farms, Oscar, Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com. OFPFarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN. I'll throw this right here on your screen for 15% off. It's OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean, OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. Okay. Someone, I didn't realize that making a joke about the Ayatollah and goat milk, but he's got plenty of goat milk, among other things that are secreted from a goat. Yesterday, yeah, that's, kind of gross. Yesterday, but it's funny. Yesterday, there was a rumor that spread around the internet like wildfire. And I think, and Brennan, you'll appreciate this, why the rumor spread. There was a rumor that, no. There was a rumor that spread around the internet like wildfire that Donald Trump was going to make an address to the nation. And from what I understand, the reason that rumor spread was because the El Donaldo Trumpo account, who people still think is operated by Donald Trump, it isn't, said that he was making an address to the nation. So that guy trolled everybody into quite a tizzy yesterday. We can't have tizzies, not when there's a potential war breaking out in the Middle East. Potentially, potentially involving nuclear weapons. So I would say let's not get to the point of believing everything that we see on the internet. We will get to the election, by the way. We will get to that FBI declassified report on China and the 2020 election, second half of the show. So it is in there. We will be talking about it. First, we're going to be doing the Middle East because that's a far greater threat to anything that's happening right now. It's also the top story of the day, but we will get to China. We will get to the FBI, the 2020 election. Trust me, it's in the rundown. I've got it. Before we get into how it is, and this is one of the best ways to cut through the noise, because I saw a lot of people who I really respect falling for this Trump is addressing the nation thing yesterday. And I even had a friend of mine call and is like, Trump is addressing the nation. And I was like, really? Says who? And like all these reputable, I would consider people are saying it. And then I'm looking and I'm going, yeah, but there's one big thing missing. Before we get to that, I'll tell you one big thing that's missing. There's one thing that's missing from your life is Silent and their Faraday bags to block signals, block tracking, block radiation from all of your hands-free devices, cell phones, tablets, computers. Folks, between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised 24/7. There is no other option. You have to protect yourself with Silent, S-L-N-T. Silent's Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices are invisible and safe from the outside world. You don't need people tracking your phone or stealing your data because your devices are unprotected. Their Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals. Your devices become invisible, safe from the outside world. From their Faraday backpacks, phone sleeves, and even pants, that's right, clothing that help block this radiation. Silent can help give you peace of mind that your data doesn't end up in the wrong hands. Got to protect your data, folks. We always talk about it. Got to protect your data. Got to protect your identity. Just place your device inside one of their products, close it, and that's all you have to do. You're safeguarded from unauthorized access. Go silent today at SLNT, Sierra Lima November Tango.com/Sean, SHAWN, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November, to save 15% off and free shipping on all qualifying orders. Stay ahead of what's coming and secure your privacy today. Again, that is Silent, SLNT, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN, for 15% off and free shipping on qualified orders. Silent, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN, for 15% off all and free shipping on all qualified orders. All right. You won't get calls or texts, but great for at night. This is true. You know, it'll block a lot of all the incoming. It's okay. Okay, Jason King pointing out what I'm about to point out. So everybody yesterday started running around with the theme, with this idea that Donald Trump was going to make an address to the nation. And the reason why I'm doing this is not to target anybody who did it or who fell for it. I'm not saying that they have bad intentions. Again, these are a lot of people who I happen to respect. The point that I'm making is, you know, after the 2024 election, a lot of people were running around screaming, "We are the media now," right? And, you know, one of the reasons why we were able to take a lot of power away from the left and a lot of power away from the mainstream media is because the mainstream media has a very high tendency and frequency of being wrong, sensational, fake news. Well, we don't want to fall into the same crap that they fall into, right? So instead of running with unverified, you know, just random out of nowhere rumors, okay, because the clicks and all of these things, or you think it's the truth, just verify it. There is a very easy way to verify whether Donald Trump is going to address the nation. The first thing I would suggest, and I said this on a number of occasions, especially in situations like this, when, you know, you could hear rumors from people who you don't know, who you think may have credibility on the internet, or you can hear it from the man himself. The best way to hear it from the man himself is what? Go to the man's social media platform. Download Truth Social. It is free. You don't even have to use it. You don't have to post on it. You can create an account. It's quick, easy, simple. Download it. If you ever see somebody mention something that Donald Trump said, you can go ahead and go to his Truth Social profile and see if it's there, right? That is the best way to verify, in terms of yesterday, whether or not Donald Trump was going to make an address to the nation. If in a time of potential war, conflict, whatever, if Donald Trump was going to address the nation, He's going to tell people about it, right? The trust me bros on the internet, some of them, again, some people had good intentions, some of them didn't. The trust me bros on the internet, that brigade of I've got a scoop, breaking news, those people, they're not going to find out. I'm telling you, they're not going to find out before the major networks find out, right? CNN, ABC, NBC, all these people, Fox. And I'm not saying that those major networks have credibility. I'm saying that if Donald Trump is going to address the nation, those major networks are going to need to be prepared. They're going to have to get cameras in place. They're going to have to get personnel in place. There's probably going to be a memo or a press release that goes out to them and independent journalists. It's not going to be, hey, where did we hear this? Oh, I don't know. I saw somebody on the internet say it, right? Donald Trump would most likely post something on his Truth Social account that says, 7 p.m. tonight, I will be making an address to the nation. That didn't happen at all yesterday. So when I heard about it, I said, well, it's not on his Truth Social. And my rule now when it comes to things like that, right, addresses and policy, if it's not on truth, it's not the truth. Okay? That's my rule. That's my rule. If somebody says that of course, he doesn't post everything there, but, if he made comments, if it's coming out of his mouth, it's a little bit of a different story. But if it's not on truth, it's not the truth. Right? So I say to anyone who keeps spreading these rumors, intentionally, unintentionally, takes 2 seconds to verify. 2 seconds. Download Truth Social. And to anybody here who sees the rumor and is immediately like, whoa, remember, tap the brakes. It could be true, but isn't it better to know whether or not it's true before we react to it? So download Truth Social. Make an account. Follow Donald Trump. I don't care who else you follow on the platform. I'm not asking you to download Truth Social so you can follow me. I use it, but I use it sparingly. X is my main platform. Listen, just follow him. Go to Truth Social. Verify it that way. You'll never fall for another hoax again. Very simple, right? Very simple. So that one kind of lit me on fire yesterday. I was like, come on, guys. So many people that I really respect, I follow, I hold in high regard, fell for, sugar honey iced tea posts, right? Essentially. Silly. Very silly. The next time we get this rumor, if Trump is going to address the nation, all major networks are going to know about it. Caroline Levitt's most likely going to post something about it. There's going to be a post on Truth Social about it. If it's not on truth, it's not the truth. If it's not on truth, it's not the truth. Okay? Now, yesterday, Iran, speaking of the fog of war, Iranian state media, quote, there is a surprise tonight that the world will remember for centuries. Nothing happened last night. Paper tiger, right? Paper tiger or paper goat, maybe. Who knows? Paper tiger. There's a surprise tonight that the world will remember for centuries. Well, I got a good night's sleep. There was a surprise. The cats left us alone. Maybe the world will remember that. Maybe they'll write about that for ages. On the night of June 17th into June 18th, Sean and Brennan got a good night's sleep. The cats left them alone. The world shall remember this for centuries. Aloha snack bar. Nothing happened. I'm not saying Iran isn't dangerous. They are pretty dangerous. Matter of fact, yesterday, some Iranian state media account, they posted, did you guys see this? They posted this yesterday. This video of, it's ominous, very ominous. Look, this is what they posted. So, you look at something like that, and is this a country? They're joking about nuclear weapons. I kind of wonder, and I don't know if you guys heard the sound. I didn't play it. It was just dramatic, dramatic music. But you kind of wonder, are they just doing this to engagement farm to get a little bit more money on X, like so many clickbaiters and sensationalists on the internet do? At this point, it's kind of crazy. Right? Now, I haven't seen many other countries with nuclear weapons post provocative videos like that saying maybe, and these statements that all the they were stroking their missile.
They were honking their hedgehog.
Yeah. They were stroking their missile. That's not good. Somebody did not think about that before they did it and the jokes that could come from that. And I don't want to know where that missile has been but it's probably been deep inside of a goat at some point in time. By the way, the goat jokes are not going to stop all morning. If you don't like them, come back tomorrow. I'm sorry. If it's a SAS-64, you are now in the spotlight. Is that a pocket rocket?
Yes, it is.
Jeffrey Toobin called. He wants his idea back. Oh, my goodness gracious. That is some funny. That is some funny stuff. No. Now, why is Meemaw changing the terms of the agreement here? If we get 700, we can see Clover.
Oh, because Meemaw's the boss.
But we know we're not putting Clover on the screen until we get to 1,000 live, okay? We're not getting Clover on the screen. All right. Another fog of war thing and this is intentional, and I don't love to play the 5D, 4D, underwater, outer space, intergalactic chess game, right? I don't think everything is that, but I will say this. When we look at the media, I want you to think, and I'm not saying that I trust these people, but I want you to think, which media outlet have you seen recently getting the scoop before many other media outlets? Have you guys noticed a trend? Are you paying attention to this? Are you paying attention? Is anyone paying attention? There's one media outlet in particular that keeps getting the scoop or getting stories or getting information or so-called information before everybody else. Have you seen this recently? Has anybody paid attention to this trend? We'll see if the live chat, because they're still talking about stroking missiles over there, right? We'll see if we have any idea. Let's see. LFA TV, yes. Fox, not really Fox. There's one outlet that Fox is reporting on. Nope, not Newsmax, not CNN, not MSNBC. This is not a broadcast media. Does that help? This is not broadcast media. Let's see if anybody gets it. It's not broadcast media. We'll see if anybody gets it, because then we're gonna, we'll go ahead and CBS is actually one of them. So I will say CBS. But all right, the answer to this question, folks, is Axios. There it is. Yes, and she got it right before me. Adna got it before me. Axios. Yes, Jason King. Axios. Yes, Winky. Axios. Yes, it's been Axios. Okay, it's been Axios. Now, do we trust Axios? No. However, the fog of war is real. And it's not just real for us who are looking for the truth here, in the United States. It's Axios. Axios, if you remember yesterday, a story came out overnight that said Donald Trump was going to be, or the Trump administration was looking to get Steve Witkoff back to the table with Iran to negotiate a ceasefire. Then Trump came out and said that's fake news. Then he ripped Emmanuel Macron. And then again, 12 hours later, Axios came out and said Trump is considering joining the offensive on Iran. So Axios went from here to here all in 12 hours. Now, is that because they don't know what they're talking about? Or is that because the Trump administration is employing strategic leaks and intentionally sending mixed signals? In many other situations, I would say there's a bad egg in there. There's a leaker in there. Something's happening. When we're dealing with, armed conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to say that I believe that the Trump administration, the Defense Department, Donald Trump himself, and these officials are intentionally doing this. Based on the administration's actions, I want you to think. Let's look. What do we say? Actions speak louder than words, right? Based on the administration's actions, based on their rhetoric, based on how much time we have given Iran here, I think it is now, even to, well, maybe not even to the Candaces, because, she'll never admit that she's wrong. She's never been wrong a day in her life. It must be nice to be Candace Owens. Based on and by the way, we're going to do this one more time. I told you so, okay? Based on the administration's actions and rhetoric, it looks like their goal is to mount a massive pressure campaign to get Iran to fold, to get Iran to surrender without the United States dropping any bombs. Because if the goal all the time was to just bomb their nuclear facilities, we could have done it already. Israel owns the skies. There's very little risk over Iranian airspace to American soldiers. We don't have to put boots on the ground. Why give Iran this much time and this much leeway if the goal was to be involved offensively from the get-go, right? Why? Why not just get it over with? If your goal was to just bomb them, you would have just bombed them. I think the American media reporting on things that they're hearing from the administration, usually right around when the Situation Room meetings of the National Security Council is happening, I think the media sending those quote-unquote mixed signals, I think that's strategic from the administration because it confuses Iran. First, you hear they're not going to get involved. They want to make a deal. Iran can take a deep breath. Then you hear the United States is getting ready. Donald Trump posts these messages on Truth Social, right? If it's not the truth, it's not the truth. If it's not on truth, it's not the truth. This. Overnight, you got possible deal. Maybe they want to negotiate. Then you get, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is, and they're demanding unconditional surrender. Iran doesn't know which way it's going. So I don't think these are unintentional leaks. I think these are intentional leaks. Okay, finally, I think we need to talk about potential outcomes here because that's ultimately what matters, right? Outcomes. Again, I truly believe the administration wants to do this without any U.S. offensive involvement, as do I, and so many other people. Best case scenario, diplomacy prevails. Iran surrenders. Full dismantling of the nuclear program. The Islamic Republic falls organically, meaning the people rise up and take power. No U.S. offensive involvement. No U.S. nation building. That would be good, right? That would be nice. That's what we would want to see, I think. Best case scenario. Time's wasting on that scenario, I think. The next best scenario is that diplomacy fails. Iran does not surrender, and the United States decides that it is time to bomb their nuclear facilities and nuclear sites. It cripples their nuclear program. The Islamic Republic still falls, but the United States decides we're going to go in, we're going to bomb, and we're leaving it alone, and the rest is what it is. No nation building. A not great scenario would be the same as what I just said, but the United States is involved in creating a new Iranian government, basically nation building. And the worst case scenario, which I believe is the least likely scenario, is a full-scale invasion of Iran to cripple the nuclear program, topple the regime, and it turns into an Iraq-Afghanistan 2.0. I don't think that's going to happen. The only reason I list it is because, it could, but it probably won't. As of now, I believe the administration would like that first option. Diplomacy. In other words, Iran comes to the table, full unconditional surrender, nuclear program dismantled. But because of how long this is taking, we do have to consider that next best option, which is U.S. offensive involvement, which I don't want or don't prefer. However, we all agree still that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, right? So if diplomacy fails, we have to do something because doing nothing means nothing will happen, right? If we do nothing, then Iran gets a nuke. Iran can't have a nuke. So doing nothing isn't an option. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? If the goal is to make sure that Iran can't have a nuke, and there are people like this Sarah Stock, I don't know, she's a grifter, online, claims to be America first, but has no problem if Iran, the death to America regime, gets a nuclear weapon. That's not me putting words in her mouth. This woman literally said, I don't care if Iran gets nukes. I do. And she does too. She just doesn't want to admit it because then she's breaking with, her persona and the whole 9 yards. She cares. Pretending not to get you phony. It's phony behavior. Can't claim to be America first and then take an administration, a regime with death to America and say, okay, they could have nukes, right? Can't do that. If we all agree that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and by the way, before anyone says that Donald Trump is changing his position, he's been saying this for 14 years. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. This has been his position for a very long time, since 2011. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So for anybody who says, I didn't vote for this, yes, you did. You voted for a man, Donald Trump, who has been clear for the last almost decade and a half that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. You voted for him. This may not have been why you voted for him, but you did vote for him. It's not a bait and switch, okay? If we can all agree, or the majority of us can come to the conclusion that Iran cannot have a nuke, and we're trying to employ diplomacy to keep Iran from getting a nuke, and diplomacy fails, right? Then something else must be done to keep Iran from getting a nuke. Because if nothing is done, then Iran gets a nuke. We can't have that. Therefore, nothing can't be an option. Sitting it out can't be an option. Now, there are some, if this, then what? We'll get to that in just a second. But while I don't prefer the U.S. becoming offensively involved, if that is what this administration, who I voted for, who I support, and I am very thankful that they're the ones calling the shots right now and not somebody else, Republican or Democrat, okay? I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Ron DeSantis. I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Vivek Ramaswamy. I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Rand Paul. I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Buttigieg. I'd much rather this be Donald Trump than Joe Biden. What was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Iran policy? Remember? Do you remember? Don't. Yeah, that is a don't. Don't. I mean, if Kamala Harris was the president right now, she'd be over in Iran telling them all about school buses and the passage of time and coconut trees, right? We'd be screwed. So I trust the administration's judgment here. And you can't say they didn't try. It's not like Israel attacked on Thursday night and then by, Saturday morning, the United States was like, bombs away. This is day 6. This is day 6. In this day and age, that's a lot of time. And you still see a reluctance from this administration to get involved. You still see it. You still see it, which I love. You can't say they're not trying to stay out of this. You can't say it. They're trying to stay out. But if we do get involved and we go and we drop those bunker busters, and by the way, if Israel needs a 40,000-ton bomb or 40,000-pound bomb, I volunteer Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams, the beast of the Southeast will become the beast of the Middle East. And she will eat the nuclear reactor, right? Which would be less of a problem than when she eats Pizza Hut, but we look at it. If we go in and we drop the bunker busters and we call it a day after that, we take out their nuclear facilities and that's it, we're hands off, I would consider that a win. And I would not consider that, quote unquote, a new war. All right. One more quick update after this about Israel and what they plan to do. Good news for the folks who don't want the United States involved. It's good news. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about My Patriot Supply. They're a brand new sponsor. Best way to support our show, obviously, share it with your friends, but also give our sponsors some love. Like My Patriot Supply. You ever notice how the power always seems to go out right when you need it the most? Whether it's a heat wave, a summer storm, or just too many people running the air conditioning at once, our fragile grid just can't keep up. That's why I want to talk to you about the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply. This thing is an absolute beast in all positive senses of the word. 33 watts of off-grid power that keeps your fridge, your freezer, your lights, and even your medical devices running whenever the power grid fails you. As of right now, they've got a crazy deal going on right now to usher in the beginning of hurricane season, to usher in the beginning of blackout season. As severe weather continues to ramp up across the Midwest, the Plains, and Dixie Alley, having a 3,300-watt solar generator is certainly not a bad idea to be prepared in case some of that happens. This deal is awesome, though. It's not just the generator that you can go and get at mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. When you buy the Grid Doctor 3300 at mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. They will throw in 2 waterproof 200-watt solar panels completely free. So you could charge this thing with free solar panels, waterproof solar panels, military-grade solar panels. They're not that cheap plastic crap. These are military-grade, built to last through storms, built to last through heats, and built to last through who knows what else. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Get prepared today for those unexpected days of power outages, storms, tornadoes, whatever it might be, and get your free solar panels. You could run this generator, by the way, in your house. It is quiet, no gas, no fumes. If there was ever a time to get serious about blackout protection and preparation, today is the day. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. All right. One more bit of good news, and then we will get to this 2020 election story. 2020 election story with the FBI. But first, I've got some good news, and I will be waving these pom-poms as hard as I possibly can from the United States, obviously in favor of Israel. But Israel now says that they're going to take they're going to attack the Fordow Nuclear Facility, the enrichment facility in Iran, with or without the United States bunker busters, right? With or without those 30,000-pound bombs known as Stacey Abrams. Israel's national security advisor, Tachi Hanegbi, said Tuesday that Israel will not stop fighting the war before it has damaged Iran's Fordow Nuclear Facility, which is buried deep within a mountain. Now, a lot of people have said the only way to cripple this facility from the air is with those 30,000-pound bunker busters that can only be delivered with a B-2 bomber. The only people with the bunker busters and the B-2 bombers are the United States of America. Okay? Now, the Times of Israel reported the following, this is good news. Israel's operation against Iran, quote, will not end without damaging the Fordow nuclear facility, promises National Security Advisor Tachi Hanegbi in an interview with Channel 12 in Israel. The site, which is 90 meters, approximately 300 feet, underground, houses thousands of centrifuges to enrich uranium. Iran's conventional munitions can't reach that deep, and it would take the United States joining the fight to knock it out from the air. Quote, I don't know if the U.S. will join, says Hanegbi, adding that Israel is talking to the United States continuously, but is not trying to convince them. That's an important nugget from the Times of Israel, wouldn't you say? If Israel media in and of itself and Israel national security advisors in and of themselves are saying they're not trying to convince us to join. Now, is he posturing? Is he lying? Are they trying to convince us in other ways? Maybe, but it's nice to hear that rhetoric coming from Israel. And I like that message a lot more than what, let's say, Netanyahu said, America first, America dead. And I know there's some differing opinions there. And I get the gist of what he was trying to say. I just don't think he delivered the message well. However, I think these comments were made a little more responsibly given the scenario. Okay? Conventional wisdom holds that Israel cannot by itself destroy Fordow. Again, the bunker busters, the whole 9 yards. And now this is a very good point that J.D. Vance made yesterday. There's a difference between enriching uranium to a degree that makes it possible to provide energy for, the citizens of Iran, right? That's a far lower level of enrichment than it is when it comes to creating a nuclear weapon, right? So Iran has gone past the threshold. Iran has gone past the threshold of enrichment for energy purposes only. Okay? The only reason you go past that threshold, you're not doing it for fun. Right? You're not doing it because, let's see how far we can go. You're doing it because you want to make a nuke. And you had that Iranian state media account on X yesterday stroking their missile, right? In other words, threatening this is what we're trying to do. They're admitting that this is what they're trying to do. Okay? And they can't have a nuclear weapon. Period. Now, the bunker-busting bombs are the only ones that can penetrate and explode at depth. Only the United States has them. Israel lacks the strategic bombers that would be necessary to carry such bombs to their target. However, both Israel and the United States might prefer that the Americans stay out of the conflict, at least directly, And Israel is saying now that they have other means to damage or cripple the Fordow Nuclear Enrichment Facility. The IDF on Tuesday, yesterday, said that it has ready a plan for striking Iran's underground Fordow Nuclear Facility the moment that the political echelon gives the order. Since the IDF lacks the mega 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb, again, I would gladly lend them Chris Christie for this purpose, okay? The United States has it. We actually have a lot of them. We actually have a lot of bunker busters, right? You think of 3,000-pound bombs? We have a lot of bunker busters. We got Chris Christie. We have Stacey Abrams. We've got J.B. Pritzker, Whoopi Goldberg, right? We've got a lot of these. Jerry Nadler is a bunker buster, I would say. We gave one of our bunker busters, Rosie O'Donnell, to Ireland. But I kid. Despite lacking that bomb, the Israeli Air Force has other techniques for damaging or causing cave-ins at Fordow, such as repeatedly dropping 5,000-pound bombs or 2,000-pound bombs over and over and over again in the exact same spots. Israel has said that it expects to fight for 1 or 2 more weeks to achieve its objectives, which includes destroying Iran's ballistic missile capabilities as well as its nuclear enrichment and weapons program. Have a field day. Drop as many bombs on Fordow as you'd like. Seriously. Go. You're not going to see me protest at all and say, I don't know if they should do it. No, do it. Look, if I'm Trump, I'm on the phone with Bibi. Listen, Bibi, I think this was a great idea. Why don't you just bomb it like nobody's ever seen? Bomb it to the Stone Age. Cause a cave-in, make a big problem. By all means, do that. That's fine with me. I have no problem with this whatsoever. If Israel wants to take on and attack the Fordow Nuclear Enrichment Facility without the United States assistance, you know me. I have never been opposed to that. Go for it. By all means, go for it. By all means, go for it. Okay? I love it. That was an article that came over late last night. Of course, things can change, but those are Israeli sources saying, maybe we don't need the United States. Maybe you don't. We're here defensively. By the way, I'm not saying to pull back defensive support at all. The final thing that I'm going to say is, these Iranian missile attacks, they've been sending like 300 missiles at a time. And at least at the beginning, they've been doing around 3 to 4 of them a day. Right? So, and early estimates on how many missiles they had was around 3,000 or so. So if you're doing 300 missiles a day and, if there was about 100 missiles on each attack, 3 to 4 attacks a day. So between 300 and 400 missiles a day, that's about, 6 to 10 days worth of attacks. We're on day 6 now. Right? We're on day 6 now. 300 missiles a day for 7 days is 2,100 missiles. 400 would be 2,800 missiles. That's 7 days. So are they going to start running out soon? Israel has been taking out their mobile missile launch centers as well. Is Iran running out? What do they have left? I don't know. But I would say Israel's in a pretty good spot, and maybe we don't need to be involved. The only thing you have to think of is, are they stalling? And are they trying to buy enough time to create a nuclear weapon? But if they create the nuclear weapon, do they have a means of delivering it? Or are they going to be irresponsible and try delivering it in some slapstick way that causes a big problem? We don't want them to even get to that point. So I fully support Israel saying, okay, we could do this without the United States. Help us on the defensive end. We'll do the offensive, and we'll try and cripple the facility with repeated strikes. By all means, go for it. You're not going to see me say, I don't know if they should do that. Do it. Kill him. Kill him now. Do it. Right? Palpatine theory. Do it. All right. I know a lot of people were excited about this, and this came out yesterday. This was, a little old news, so I apologize for not getting to it yesterday. But I have been laser focused on this Middle East conflict. Keeping tabs on kind of, who's saying what and who's on whose side and whatnot. But Jennifer Oliver O'Connell here on Red State, among many others, Kash Patel handed a declassified intelligence report to the Senate Judiciary Committee alleging that the Chinese Communist Party plotted to create fake mail-in ballots in order to weight the 2020 general election in favor of then former Vice President and Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden. Okay? We have been saying for a long time that 2020, big issues with 2020, a lot of questions with 2020, and there was most likely foreign interference in some way, shape, or form. And we've heard on many occasions from the left, foreign interference is bad, especially when it's who? Russia, right? And I get along well with Russia. I get along well with Putin. And you look at Crooked Joe, he was tootin' with Putin, right? They didn't get along very well, but I get along very well. I get along tremendously well with a lot of people, right? FBI Director Kash Patel on Monday evening turned over to Congress an intelligence report raising concerns that China had mass-produced fake United States driver's licenses to carry out a scheme to hijack the 2020 election with fake mail-in ballots for Democrat Joe Biden. Again, this is not some guy who said, I got a scoop. This is the FBI. This is the FBI declassifying a report that they had in their possession that previous leaders of the FBI covered up. Okay? They covered it up. The newly declassified intelligence reports from August of 2020 weren't corroborated or fully investigated and instead were recalled from intelligence agencies at about the time that then Director Christopher Wray testified that there were no known plots of foreign intelligence or interference ahead of the 2020 election. So, these reports came out in August of 2020. He swept them under the rug and then came out and told you there's nothing, even though he had something. The new documents were turned over to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, who had first raised concerns to the Bureau that the intelligence hadn't been fully vetted and instead was just dismissed, even though there was evidence of the fake licenses. Quote, thanks to oversight work and partnership of Chairman Grassley, the FBI continues to provide unprecedented transparency at the People's Bureau. August of 2020 was when the report was received by the FBI. Corroboration efforts started. Then the report was pulled by a higher authority. Who was that? Well, the FBI director in 2020 was Christopher Wray. September of 2020, legacy media and leftists were having the vapors over the fact that Wray strongly debunked conspiracy theories, quote unquote, by Trump and others that there might be fraud in the 2020 election. That was at that point upcoming, hadn't happened yet. In the space of a single sentence uttered Thursday, FBI Director Christopher Wray unwound months of wild conspiracy theories pushed by Donald Trump and his allies about mail-in ballots in 2020. Quote, now, we have not seen historically any kind of coordinated national voter fraud effort in a major election, whether it's by mail or otherwise. Wray was testifying in front of the Senate Homeland Security Committee under oath, meaning that if he didn't tell the truth about his knowledge in regard to what we knew about the record of fraudulent voting by mail, he'd be committing a crime. Did he commit a crime? They had intelligence about this. They got it a month earlier. The report will be delved into more deeply by Senator Chuck Grassley and his judiciary investigators. It's pretty good. So the former leadership at the FBI covered up a threat to steal your election. And I don't think we're done with this yet. And I want to hat tip Kash Patel, who was always at the forefront of this 2020 election stuff. Dan Bongino, who was always at the forefront of the 2020 election stuff. For at least taking this step to get this information out there. What does it mean? It means that there were claims that were being investigated by the FBI that China, the same country that unleashed COVID, was trying to interfere in the United States election. And those claims were not fully investigated and were covered up and were dismissed. And now it looks like there was coordination. Does that mean that the Chinese actually went through with the fake driver's license and the printing of the ballots? We don't know. We don't know. But the possibility was there. And that is one of many ways that 2020 was absolutely, undoubtedly tampered with. They told us it wasn't possible. The FBI was looking at it and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, stopped looking into it. It smells like, What do they say? It smells rotten in Denmark or something? I don't know. If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. This is a duck, I think. We'll get more on that as it comes out. But looking forward to that information coming out. All right, I want to talk to you about Armor Colostrum, another great sponsor of our show. TryArmor.com/LFATV, TryArmor.com/LFATV. You know, I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity and my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. This is Armor Colostrum, and it can do that and more for you. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we can receive in life, and contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. You'll see it right here on your screen. Armor Colostrum can help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. It can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, combating bloating. You could feel lighter. It does a lot more than probiotics. Probiotics are usually dead by the time they reach your gut. They only address one part of the 4-part gut wall system. Armor Colostrum naturally fortifies your entire gut wall system, optimizing your microbiome, and strengthening the gut wall architecture, which guards against irritants that can trigger symptoms like bloating and constipation. You could also feel your fitness performance and your recovery, and you can get 15% off of everything here at TryArmor.com/LFATV. That's TryArmor.com/LFATV. TryArmor.com/LFATV for 15% off of your first order. TryArmor.com/LFATV. Last up is the LFA TV store, and a quick look at what they've got to offer. Big spring cleaning sale that I would encourage you to take advantage of. 20% off at the LFA TV store. 20% off, spring cleaning sale. Click on the Visit the Store tab. You got the mugs, you got the shirts, you got the tumblers, you got the flannels, and you got 20% off. You see the pop-up there. LFATV.us. There is something for everybody here at the LFA TV store. Grab some merch before the July 4th celebrations take place. You could rock out at your barbecues with some LFA TV merch, showing everybody how much you love America and how much you love the truth. Can't wait for you to do that at LFATV.us, JeremyHerald.com/store. Take advantage of the 20% off spring cleaning sale today, LFATV.us or JeremyHerald.com/store. No matter where you're watching, do us a favor. Please hit the share button. Please hit the like button. And please hit that thumbs up. You're watching anywhere. Drop us a comment. Drop us something in the live chat. Our live chat is popping off over here on Rumble. If you're watching on Rumble, over 4,000 of you or so watching the show right now. Hit that thumbs up for us. Create a Rumble account. It's completely free. And make sure that you are a part of the channel. Go ahead. Follow the page. Jump into the live chat and do everything you can to help us spread the word. We greatly appreciate it. I've got some great news, by the way. The Customs and Border Protection, CBP, just had a perfect month of May. What does that mean? Last May, if these numbers are correct, last May of what happened? May of 2024. I believe the Biden regime, Customs and Border Protection, released 62,000 illegal aliens into the country. May of 2025, Customs and Border Protection. If this doesn't get you to hit the thumbs up button, I don't know what will. In May of 2025, Customs and Border Protection released 0. Look, that's a big old goose egg right there. It's a donut. In May of 2025, Customs and Border Protection released 0 illegal aliens into the United States. A perfect month of May. A perfect month of May. Did we get a new border bill? I was told last year by the lying mainstream media, the lying Democrats, these Marxists, these communists, these propagandists, that Republicans are standing in the way of border security. No, you were standing in the way of border security. As Donald Trump said in his address, his joint address to Congress back in March, all we really needed was a new president. 0, not a single illegal alien was released into the country by Customs and Border Protection. Without new laws, without drones and all this new stuff that was going to zero. Halting the flow of illegal aliens into the country, thanks to the good work of the men and women of CBP and the leadership of President Trump and Secretary Noem, who apparently suffered an allergic reaction yesterday but is okay. CBP is leveraging authorities to take every step to ensure illegal aliens are expediently removed from the country. In May of 2025, the U.S. Border Patrol released 0 illegal aliens into our country, a staggering drop from more than 62,000 that U.S. Border Patrol was forced to release along the southwest border in May of 2024. In May of 2025, the Border Patrol encountered 8,725 illegal aliens crossing the southwest border between ports of entry. It's a 93% decrease from May of 2024, when U.S. Border Patrol encountered 117,905 illegal aliens. Encounter numbers continue to hold at historic lows, reflecting a border that is more secure, more controlled, and hitting unprecedented levels of operational success. Not a single one of those 8,725 border crossers were released into the United States. That is what I voted for. That is what we all voted for. All right, I want to say thank you to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and listening. If you could do us a favor here on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching over on Rumble, we'd greatly appreciate it. Drop us a like. It helps us fly up the charts. It is Mo time.
Yeah, go time.
So there you go. If you're watching anywhere else, again, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you repost, drop a comment, drop a reply anywhere you're watching. We'd greatly appreciate that. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next with Live from America for the next 2 hours here on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. If you're not watching over there, you're missing out on all the fun. Join us over on Rumble, the Cool Kids table, our main home for LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we will just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're off to join Michael Patrick Leahy on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show for the Tennessee Bonus Hour between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Central Time for our little weekly Trump press conference that we do, an interview that we do with Michael Patrick Leahy as well. The great Michael Patrick Leahy, who is the reason why Kilmar Abrego Garcia is facing human smuggling charges in the United States of America. Thanks, Michael, you troublemaker. We love you. We'll be with him in a little bit. Tune in there on X at Michael P. Leahy. Jeremy Harrell coming up next for the next 2 hours. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang, gavel. We will see you back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Till then, have a great rest of your Trump day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.